Well, good afternoon. It is afternoon. Yes, it is. 2 years ago, as many of you know, we announced the selection of the development team that is going to build the first 2 residential buildings on this long vacant site. And over the years, there have been many plans for Hunters Point South, all of them good, some better than others, but none of them could be realized. And that is until right now. Today, after years of planning and partnership, I'm happy to announce we're breaking ground on nearly 1,000 units of housing at Hunters Point South. It's the first large-scale, middle-class development to be built in our city in more than 3.5 decades. When completed, Co-op City and Starrett City, when Co-op City and Starrett City were completed 3.5 decades ago. These 2 buildings, a 37-story tower on 50th Avenue and a 32-story building on Borden Avenue, will contain 925 apartments, and all of them will be permanently affordable. That's right, 100% of these units in these buildings will be permanently affordable, and they will be homes for the real backbone of our city, our teachers, our nurses, our police officers and firefighters, and thousands of other hardworking New Yorkers. These homes are the first of more than 5,000 planned housing units at Hunters Point South that together will represent the single largest project started under the new housing marketplace plan. When they're ready for occupancy next year, they'll add to the more than 143,000 units of affordable housing we've financed throughout 5 boroughs over the last decade. We're now 87% of the way, I'm happy to say, towards our goal of 165,000 units of affordable housing by the end of 2014. And so I'm happy to say again, we are ahead of schedule, something that will not get into the papers, I'm sure. And to stay ahead of schedule, we're going to accelerate our pace even more. Next month, we'll issue a request for proposals for the second phase of Hunters Point, located on the south side of Borden Avenue. This next phase will call for another 1,000 units of housing, with at least half the units designated as permanently affordable. It will also call for about 28,000 square feet of community and commercial space. The first homes of Hunters Point South will be among the first housing units built along our waterfront since Hurricane Sandy, and our administration has committed to not simply rebuilding the communities that Sandy hit the hardest, but to create a more resilient and sustainable city as well, and Hunters Point South will help us do both. For example, the residential buildings will locate their mechanical systems, including boilers and cogeneration plants, on the second floor or higher. Emergency generators will be placed on the roofs, and all exterior doors are designed to be watertight, as well as all new affordable housing construction funded by the city. They'll adhere to green building standards, too. The new housing we're announcing today is just one part of what will become a spectacular waterfront community. The first phase alone also includes 17,000 square feet of retail space, infrastructure including sewers, water mains, roadways, and construction of which, as you can see, is well underway. A new 5-acre waterfront park that will open this spring, and a new eco-friendly school that will accommodate more than 1,000 students in the middle and high school grades. We expect the school to be finished and ready to welcome students by this September. And altogether, the first phase of Hunters Point South development will create 1,600 construction jobs, and in the coming years, Hunters Point South development will serve the creation of an additional 3,000 jobs and more than $2 billion in private investment. In addition to great schools, beautiful parks, and a variety of retail operations, good mass transit links are also vitally important to a community, both for the families who will make their homes here and to businesses that will grow to serve them. And this neighborhood is a roughly 2-block walk from the number 7 line, and from there a 5-minute ride to Grand Central Station. Or you can take it out to Citi Field. The G train is also nearby with stops along Jackson Avenue. The New York Water Taxi has a dock 3 blocks south of here we're standing, and our expanded East River ferry service will provide Hunters Point South residents with direct links to Wall Street and Midtown Manhattan, and to points in North and South Brooklyn, as well as Governor's Island. In just a few years, Hunters Point South will have all the markings of a great community. And making this day possible took a lot of hard work and dedication from a lot of people. The city's efforts, you should know, were led by Deputy Mayor for Economic Development, Bob Steele, the Department of Housing Preservation and Development, by Commissioner Mathew Wambua, provided $68 million to the project, and President Mark Yarr and his team at the Housing Development Corporation issued $236 million in tax-exempt bonds that included $185 million authorized by Governor Andrew Cuomo and our partners in state government. And I want to thank the governor for his commitment of tax-exempt bonds without which this development could not have been financed. The New York State Energy Research and Development Authority also provided, you should know, $1.2 million in grants for green construction. And also want to acknowledge Economic Development Corporation President Seth Pinsky, Parks Commissioner Veronica White, and thank our partners in City Hall government, including Borough President Helen Marshall and Councilmember Jimmy Van Brammer, who's with us today, as well as those we worked with in the community, including local community board chair Joe Conley, and also thank our private sector financial partners, Aled Weiner of Wells Fargo Multifamily Capital, Todd Gomez of Bank of America Merrill Lynch, and Andy Ditton of City Community Capital. And finally, creating the first large-scale middle-class community in more than 3 decades wouldn't have been possible without our private sector development partners. The team of related companies made Monadnock Construction and the city's largest not-for-profit developer of affordable housing, Phipps Houses Group. And I also want to thank Bruce Beal of Related and Nick Lembo of Monadnock for their vision and dedication in seeing this project through. And I would now like to invite Phipps President and CEO Adam Weinstein to share a few words on today's announcement. Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I see everyone's huddled for warmth. I'd like my partners Bruce Beal and Nick Lembo to join me up here in part for warmth. We all know the mayor sets ambitious goals and then tells us all, just don't screw it up. Right? So working with the electeds, the mayor mentioned, the community board, sister agencies in government, both at the state level, the city's Department of Housing and Housing Development Corporation really deserve credit, not just for not hitting it, not just for not screwing it up, but for hitting it out of the park. Commissioner Mathew Wambua and HCC President Mark Yar deserve special praise, as do their staffs, for driving this ambitious project to getting it done. As a team, Related, Phipps, and Monadnock took the mayor's vision to heart. We too are ambitious. In keeping with that vision, we work to adhere, as the mayor mentioned, to LEED Silver standard to installing a cogeneration plant. We committed to supporting the nearby parkland, and we've addressed storm sustainability concerns in this post-Sandy world we live in. But most importantly, we've committed as a team to making this project 100% affordable, even though the RFP did not require it. And we actually reached that conclusion independently. The three of us got together at our first meeting and determined that we had drawn the same conclusion, which is somewhat remarkable when the city's preeminent market rate developer, its oldest and largest not-for-profit affordable housing developer, and its best builder in both sectors all come to the same conclusion and can be so aligned. It really has been a great team, and on behalf of that team, I'd like to thank our leadership, the partners, Bruce Beal, Nick Lembo, Jeff Blau of Related, and Greg Balso as well of Monadnock Construction. And I'd like to single out our project managers, the two Franks, Frank Monterisi and Frank Dubinsky from Related and Monadnock respectively, and Michael Wadman of Phipps Houses. We look forward to seeing you at the ribbon cutting.
Thank you, Adam. As I mentioned, the state's partnership in reclaiming this long-abandoned waterfront for future generations of New Yorkers was essential, and I would now like to invite Darryl Towns, the Commissioner and CEO of New York State Homes and Community Renewal, to share a few words. Darryl?
Thank you very much, Mayor, and I think that in lieu of this day, my 10 pages of remarks I will keep in my pocket. But I want to thank everyone involved. These are the best projects, these transformational projects where everyone has to come together. Mr. Mayor, under your leadership as well as that of Governor Cuomo, has come together in order to reignite affordable housing development. It's been my pleasure to work with your right hand in regard to affordable housing, both Commissioner Mathew Wambua and President Mark Yar. Together, we cannot accomplish these things separately. We need to come together. So it being the state and the city coming together to share resources, as well as great groups such as Phipps, Related, Monadnock, our financial communities coming together These are the times that we need to come together and not waste time about why we can't do things, but come together and figure out how we can make transformational housing. This is tremendous. It's just the first phase, and Mr. Mayor, we look forward to subsequent phases working with you in the city of New York. Thank you so much.
Commissioner, thank you. This is an exciting day for New York City. It's especially exciting for Queens, and our President Helen Marshall is here. She's worked with us every step in this way in this project. Helen, say a few words.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor to have the insight to build affordable housing in this area. Right now, all of Long Island City is really prime real estate. But this one will be one that will be prime real estate, but it will also be affordable. And so I remember you explaining everything to us about how you planned it. This came straight from him. He had us all together in some place that we found to meet in this area, but we really do need affordable housing. I thank Mayor Bloomberg and the city administration for the dedication and perseverance in providing affordable housing in Queens and New York City. Middle-class families will have much to look forward to in Queens, with the Macedonia AME affordable housing rising quickly in Flushing and now groundbreaking in Hunters Point South. With the housing, new school, retail, waterfront access, and open space, Hunters Point South will be a great affordable addition to the East River waterfront, along with its neighbor, Queens West. In fact, pretty soon, when you stand here, you're going to be looking at Manhattan, and instead of them just looking at us. Again, thank you, Mayor Bloomberg, for the following through on the production of affordable housing for the working families and young people of New York City. We really do need this. Thank you so much. Can I shake your hand?
Yes, you certainly can.
Come
Just
on.
don't fall back. Council member Jimmy Van Bremer has been committed to expanding opportunities for all New Yorkers. He also represents this district. Jimmy?
Thank you very much, Mr. Bloomberg, Mr. Mayor, and for all that you've done. This is a great day for not only Long Island City, all of Queens, but New York City. And I want to thank you for your leadership and your administration. Long Island City, as you can see, is absolutely thriving. It is everything that is good and right about the direction of New York City. And I want to thank Joe Connolly and the Community Board 2. This was a community-engaged process, and that's why we came out with as good a result as we did. The high school and intermediate school that you see here is going to be home to the Academy of Film and Television Studies High School, which is now in another building. It's going to be here. It's going to be great. The park that you see that's going to open very soon is a beautiful waterfront park, and the housing that is being built is providing thousands of jobs, good paying jobs from some of the men you see behind us. This is a win for all of us, and I'm just so grateful to be here, to be a part of it, and to represent what I think, Mr. Mayor, is the best district in all of New York City and the City Council, where everyone wants to live, everyone wants to work, everyone wants to start a business, and now's the time to get into Long Island City because it is just getting better and better. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for all of your leadership on this issue and so many others, and thank you to the entire team that you see here. They're all a pleasure to work with, and it's only going to get better for New York City. It's only going to get better for Long Island City. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jimmy. Let me try to summarize today's announcement for our Spanish-speaking New Yorkers. Estamos empezando construcción en los primeros edificios residenciales en Hunters Point South. Todos los apartamentos serán accesibles para familias de la clase media. La construcción será ecológico y sostenible y creará miles de trabajos en nuestra ciudad. And with